Here we are in the Elah Valley. Now in the book of Samuel, chapter 17, now the Philistines gathered their armies for battle, and they were gathered at Socho, which belongs to Judah, and encamped between Socho and Azekah in Ephes Damim. And Saul and the men of Israel were gathered and encamped in the valley of Elah, and drew up in a line of battle against the Philistines. All right, so here it says it's giving us coordinates. It's saying that the Philistines are at a place called Socho, right? And which belongs to Judah, and encamped between Socho and Azekah. Azekah, I mentioned, is over there, right? It's that hill. Socho is the hill over there. Now, how do we know that Socho and Azekah these? Because the Arabic names preserve the ancient Hebrew names. So this is how we know why many places, right, what they're biblical places, because the Arabic name preserved, and it's very similar. Like Beit Sha'an. In Arabic, it was Beit Sa'an. Right? So, Azekah, Socho. And it also mentions a place called Ephes Damim. Now, what is Ephes Damim? Ephes means 0. Now, Damim can mean two things. One, it can mean blood. Or two, which is, I think, very ironic, or maybe very interesting, it also can mean taxes.
Blood or taxes?
Blood or taxes, right? Okay. Not a lot of difference sometimes. Now, why is this place called? Why would this place called Ephes Damim? So there are a few theories. Here we see how the tribes. We see how the tribes are broken up, and here we're like right around here. Now, what's nearby is the Philistines.
Right.
Right now, the borders, right, could be fluctuous. So maybe this is the area. This is the borderlands. So maybe this is a place. If it's Ephes Damim, it means no blood. Right, maybe this is a place where you're not supposed to have any fighting. Right, but as there are armies here, maybe that's not the actual place, right, or the meaning. Maybe it means instead, right, it's Ephes Damim, it means that there are no taxes. This is duty-free. Right, maybe because no particular people could exert enough power to exert taxes on the populace. Not so sure, but these are possibilities. Right, but why are the armies here? Because the Philistines like valleys. Right, they have chariots, something the Israelites don't. The Israelites are always fighting in mountains for the most part. Every now and then, they'll fight in a valley or whatnot, but a lot of the times they like fighting in mountains. Guerrilla warfare, hit and run, right? And so this is this area. Now, the Philistines are out here, right? And you have their champion Goliath. He comes out and he is.
Give me that something blow away.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, Goliath is coming out and he's berating the Israelites. He's talking about how they're cowards. David, right? David's father sends, which is in Bethlehem, which is just over those hills right over there. It's maybe about a 2-day walk. He sends his youngest son David with a bunch of cheese and food, right, to bring to his older brother. Something Israeli parents are still doing today. They're sending packages, right, to their children. And he's very smart. He's like, be sure to give it to your commander, right? Your brother's commander, because he'll take care of them, right? A little bit of a bribe, bakshish. David comes, he hears about Goliath and about how he is berating, right, the Israelites and berating the God of Israel, and he's in shock that nobody's standing up to this guy. Right? He's like, well, I'll do it. Right, I'll fight. And in the ancient worlds, right, you had a lot of times these like one-on-one battles, because the ancient people believed that the gods were in charge, right? And if the gods want one side to win, and there's no point to having all these thousands of people dying. If we just have 2 people fight, the gods are the same God is going to make sure that side wins. So let's just have 1 death instead of 1,000. This is the whole idea between these battles, right? Because the gods are going to decide anyway, and might as well just 1 person die instead of thousands. So David says, I will fight these people. I'm not scared. And then Saul hears about this, and he brings David. Saul hears about this. Where's my King Saul? He's clothed David with his armor. He put a helmet of bronze on his head. And strapped his sword over his armor.
Can't even figure it out.
And it's okay because it works with the story. And he tried in vain to go, for he had not tested them. And David said to Saul, I cannot go with these, for I have not tested them. So David put them off, and he took his staff in his hand, and choose 5 smooth stones. It's okay. He chose 5 smooth stones from the brook and put them in a shepherd's pouch, his sling with his hand, and he approached the Philistine. Now, why does he take 5 stones? Let me put it from an anthropological point of view, right? The anthropologists have studied pre-industrial societies, and when they're going hunting with slingshots, they take 5 stones, and these 5 stones are of different sizes because as you approach your target, you need to have a different weight of stone, so the accuracy is increased.
Whoa, look at him.
So David, right? David comes with 5 stones. Goliath, right? He's laughing at this little child. And then David comes down. Even though he walks through the valley of the shadow of death, he fears no evil, right? Because the Lord is with him. And Goliath is coming. He kills Goliath. David runs over to Goliath. David, run over to Goliath. And then he takes his sword. And he chops off his head. Story's not over. Story's not over. Story's not over. And so David prevailed over the Philistine with his sling and with the stone and struck the Philistine and killed him. And there was no sword in the hand of David. Then David ran and stood over the Philistine and took his sword and drew it out of its sheath and killed him and cut off his head with it. When the Philistines saw that their champion was dead, they fled. And the men of Israel and Judah rose with a shout and pursued the Philistines as far as Gath and the gates of Ekron, so that the wounded Philistines fell on the way from Sha'araim as far as Gath and Ekron. Right, Gath and Ekron are 2 Philistine cities, right, back this way. So the Philistines are running west, running back to their homelands. And it says that the Israelites are killing them all along the road of Sha'araim, all the way back to their cities. Now, look over there, that hill. Remember I said you can see the wall, right, through the trees of an ancient Iron Age structure. That's a settlement that only existed at one time period, and it's a time period of David and Goliath, of Iron Age 1000 BC. Now, a gatehouse, a gate is going to be the most vulnerable part of your city because you have a hole in your wall. So you want to have as little gates as you can. It's a rather small settlement, but in that place, they have 2 gates. Now, why am I mentioning this? Because the name Sha'araim in Hebrew means 2 gates. When something has like an ayim at the end, like oznaim, yadaim, raglaim, right? It's a twin, right? There are 2 of them. So Sha'araim means 2 gates at a place right next to where in the valley of Elah, you have an Iron Age settlement with 2 gates that whose road, right, would lead back in this direction, right? So that actually might be Sha'araim, and the road that they're killing them, right, is from there all the way back west. Right, so guys, here, this is the Valley of Elah, one of the most famous stories in all the Bible, right? Underdog story. And over there, this is the brook that David took some stones, and you can now go ahead and take some stones you can bring back to your grandchildren, right? Family and friends. Don't take the big ones because you do have to worry about weight at the airport. One time I saw one guy carrying like a stone like this big, like 2 of them. And I'm like, well, what are you going to do with that at the airport? But you can go ahead and take some stones now, right? That's Azekah over there. Azekah, and that's Socho over there.
And the reason why those names are intact?
Because of the Arabic names preserved them. Right? The Arabs preserved the ancient Hebrew biblical names.
So by those clues, this
Yes. This is it. This is it. This is not a question. Right? We're nearby Bethlehem. You have an Iron Age settlement. This is the valley, right? This is it. Elah, by the way, means terebinth. It's a terebinth tree. So it's the valley of the terebinth tree. What, sweetheart? היה פה בעמק. והישראלים היו שם למעלה, על ההר. Okay? The Israelites were up on the mountain, and the Philistines were down on the valley. Okay? And then David came down from the mountain, picked up some streams from that brook. Right, it was on that mountain there, not on this one, because this is where the brook is. But this is a carob tree. Somebody asked me about carob trees earlier. I said I would tell you about it, so now we're talking. Carob in Hebrew, it's called charuv, or charuv. Right now, you can eat the pods of this tree. It actually tastes like chocolate. They're really good. I wouldn't eat them now because they're probably waterlogged and whatnot. So that's one purpose of the carob tree. You can use it to eat, or it's a food source. It tastes like chocolate, kind of sweet. In addition, the seeds of a ripe carob pod are always going to weigh the same amount. Right?
That's right.
They're going to weigh 0.2 grams. They're going to weigh 0.2 grams. Now, in the ancient world, right, values of things was based off of one way about weight. Right? If it weighed X amount, this is how much, right, gold, and that gold needs to weigh X amount. Right? Things like this. And so you need a steady unit of measurement, something that's always going to be the same. So a carob tree is a great unit of measurement because they're always 0.2 grams. So if you wanted to take something, say a diamond, and weigh it, see how much it weighs? By the way that you say cheruv in Greek is carat. So you take a carat seed, you weigh it, and if a diamond weighs 1 carat, that's what's a 1 carat diamond. If it weighs 2 seeds, 2 carat seeds, it's a 2 carat diamond. All right, so this is the origins of the carats, and it comes from this tree.